I would say that the factors are two factors contribute to these incremental and piecemeal reforms. First of all, at least for as Italy is concerned, in the law up to very short time ago, 10 years, was basically the same law that was in the 19th century. So you can change the law, but you can't, by a magic wand, change the culture. So what the product you have is somewhat suboptimal. The second driver is that insolvency law is very sensitive to the context. Unlike corporate law, it's quite easy to refine, and as it was done in Italy in 2003, it was a comprehensive, good company law reform that basically went without big discussions, apart academic discussions. When you try to touch insolvency law, it's a very difficult issue. You have to deal with judges, we have to deal with professionals, we have to deal with banks and even competitors.
Until 2014 in France we had what we thought to be a very data-friendly regime, which was in fact a very shareholders-friendly regime. And it really changed in the 2014. And I really think that the efficiency of the negotiation during pre-insolvency process depends on your fallback positions. And your fallback position is a formal insolvency proceeding. And if you look at economy theory, it's game theory. You know, so people negotiate in the anticipation. And until 2014, in my country, we thought that by threatening creditors, we will end up with good results. But it's not that it's contradictory to the economic theory. It's by encouraging the parties, and especially the one which has the most interest in taking the issue and dealing with the issue up front, i.e. the creditors, that you actually facilitate the restructuring of the company, not giving the keys to the shareholders, which actually are the least interest to negotiate up front, because he's always going to hope that he was fast. I think maybe the lack of economic law and economics research is maybe one of the main issues in Europe, and may explain why we didn't anticipate the situation, and when we wait for the crisis to come, and at a very quick time, there's no choice but reforming, and it took us so many time to reach a good result.
There's a strong need for either specialization and for probably a more law and economics, a more training in economics. In Italy, judges can be public prosecutors one day and bankruptcy judges the other, and they may be graduated for 2 years, so they might lack total experience. So I think this is a point where the EU might, if they wish, intervene.
There is a kind of taboo in Europe. It's a question of the judges in terms of expertise. What do you expect from them? When you look at the UK, in the UK, the judges are basically former lawyers, if I'm correct, former barristers, I would say. We may ask ourselves the question, is it the best solution? Because apparently there is a lot of cases which have moved to London. Is there any chance that we have Chapter 11 in Europe? Can we really expect the member states to agree to lose their sovereignty in this issue, with respect to this issue? What do you think, Lorenzo?
Insolvency regimes are so different in member states and sometimes inefficient, creates an uneven playing field. That has an impact not only on survival of distressed businesses, but also on the cost of credit, because of the fact that the creditors factor in the reduced recovery. Harmonization is desirable, and quite surprising to me, UK institution that the British are not in favor of harmonization, they are not known for this. Like Oxford published a paper that calls strongly for harmonization.
It's quite interesting when you look at the situation. In the US, there's one federal insolvency law on 50 corporate law, and we have spent so many years in Europe trying to design a European corporate law, and we just forgot about the insolvency law. And maybe we should have figured out why in the US there's one against 50. And I really think in terms of harmonization, it's much more important to harmonize insolvency law than corporate law.